What's good, everybody? It's your boy Haki, and today we're gonna be reacting to David is preparing for the worst. Bomb away, track more Ross. Drop a like, comment, subscribe on the video, and let's get straight
Okay,
into it.
guys, I'm finally back with another David update. It's a small update, but I think it is actually a very interesting piece of news that is relevant to perhaps the possibility that David is taking some precautionary moves in anticipation of having a big problem on his hands. Okay, because this is the latest news that's popped off on TMZ. Apparently, David is putting his assets, he's putting his homes, he's putting the properties, all of that stuff into his mama's name. Now, we've heard this kind of thing from athletes going through divorces. You know, there's all these different stories about that he put everything in his mom's name so he couldn't lose it in the divorce. They put everything in this person's name so they couldn't get it taken by the feds. You know, whether it's gangsters, athletes, rich people be moving the assets around because they know, hey, I need to stay out of trouble. I need to make sure that no one can take my crib if it goes left. It's possible, in my opinion, it's possible that this could be a precautionary move because he knows that some heat's coming. Now, let's see what they said in the article, and then we'll look at some of the reaction on Reddit, because it's not a Trap More Ross video if we don't.
If y'all don't remember, bruh, there was a video that I reacted to where they had actually raided his mom's house in Texas, like the Texas home that he's talking about. They actually raided that and was like, yeah, there was reported like a murder was here like 5 minutes ago. They said a woman was screaming and they heard gunshots and they pulled up. I think that might be this video down here if y'all see my mouse and stuff like that. But yeah, bro, this is, yeah, I think hey man, does this mean that he knows? Like, or does like what are they not? What are the feds not saying, man? It's
Analyze the
interesting.
discourse around these things you want to say. I'll just talk about Reddit, but this is on TMZ, and then we are
Club
going to go to Reddit to
Utopia,
see what the people,
by the way.
okay, because it matters what the people think. But this says David is making some real estate moves as cops investigate the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas, whose decomposing corpse was found in his Tesla. Notice I didn't say dismembered this time. They're backtracking on the dismembered now. He transferred 2 of his Texas homes to his mother. Now, this guy was getting some serious money, okay? He had 5 billion streams when this all went down. He was getting to the bag. He was getting millions. He apparently got a $3 million advance. He's making hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars every single month from his music career. He's got multiple homes in Texas. He's getting it, okay? He's getting to the bag. But apparently, according to new legal docs obtained by TMZ, and TMZ be getting all the fresh stuff off the presses, man, the singer transferred the deeds to 2 Houston area residents he owns under a trust to his mother. David made the changes on September the 18th and September the 22nd, and the 18th was the very same day that the cops were called to one of his homes for the swatting incident. The caller, who was apparently using a device to mask their voice, falsely reported a shooting and said that there was a dead female victim. Okay, it looks like his parents and his siblings are already living in one of the homes. When cops showed up for the swatting call, his parents answered the door and told police that David's younger brother and sister were upstairs. Okay, the LAPD executed a search warrant at the LA home where David was renting, where he was living, on September the 17th, and then they're just going to recap and rehash all of the stuff that we already know. But that is an interesting development. Okay, he's putting properties into his parents' name. Who knows? Who knows if there's a civil suit? All right. When we saw the O.J. Simpson situation, unfortunately, you know, the family of not just not just O.J. Simpson's wife Nicole, ex-wife Nicole, or whatever, however you want to call it. There was another man who lost his life that night, Ron Goldman, and his family went to war with O.J. Simpson. Yeah, O.J. beat the criminal trial, but they whooped him in a civil case for being responsible for the death, and they chased him to the grave, trying to get money out of him, trying to get basically any profiteering that he was doing. OJ tried to write a book. If I really did it, this is how I would have done it. And they said, hey, no pennies moving through them accounts until we get our taste, because we're not allowing you to just basically just ride off into the sunset and make millions of dollars. So it's possible that this move is actually being done for the same reason, because who knows if a civil suit is coming for this Celeste thing. Right, so this is going around in the r/entertainment subreddit. Okay, this isn't the David subreddits, right? This isn't confined to the David sphere, as he said, the David universe, as he was saying. Okay, people are reacting. It says, I feel as if my "I am definitely not a murderer" t-shirt is prompting questions which are frankly answered by the shirts. Okay, they got a good sense of humor over in here. People saying he definitely did it. No other reason to be doing this other than expecting something really bad happening. Yeah, like an expensive court battle. I think he probably did it, but guilty or not, it is not going to be cheap. People are saying there's only so much he and his lawyers can do to draw out a criminal case. If they intentionally obfuscate Obfuscate, that's a big word, man. I'll get my dictionary out for that one. Or delay, it will piss off the judge. So he got a lot of bread. He's going to need to spend a lot of money on lawyers. He already allegedly is spending a lot of money on lawyers, and it could get much worse. People are saying this is a tough one. On one hand, it's his girlfriend found in a car that he abandoned, but on the other hand, he says he didn't do it. Truly a mystery. People are saying caveat, his underage girlfriend. Okay, people are saying I'm
Ooh.
still innocent until proven guilty guy, but David, you ain't looking too hot right now. Innocent in the eyes of the law, but suspicious as F. Okay, they're saying, why do they call every black artist a rapper? I think that is actually interesting because a lot of people have been calling him a rapper, but he's a singer, he's an R&B dude, all right?
Yeah.
He ain't a rapper, but it doesn't really matter, okay? Pointing out her age. People are saying, I have no idea how he hasn't been arrested now. Police are struggling to find non-circumstantial evidence. The body was badly decomposed, which doesn't help. Okay, can't wait to see this loser's interrogation on YouTube. That is going to be a crazy day, man, when his interrogation...
Oh my God. When and if it does come out, y'all know it'll be right on the channel as soon as it does drop, because that is going to be a crazy, crazy, crazy day for content. Cause I just want to see, cause he be saying some real crazy stuff in his interviews. So I want to see how he's gonna try to like play this off.
comes out. And it's a state case, so we might actually get our hands on that at one point. I don't know if California will be releasing interrogation videos. It says at this point he's all lawyered up, so he likely knows it's much better than to actually talk. But the question is, will he make a song about it? They're saying the Explore With Us video on David is going to be good. Okay, and it definitely is going to be crazy. They're saying this dude's an idiot. It's giving that he's going to turn himself in, but he wants to get rid of all his assets so her family doesn't get anything in restitution, or he's going to go on the run and doesn't want to have his money frozen. People are saying, I think the police aren't arresting anyone because they know they effed up on their end when the news came out that 911 was called multiple times to her family home before she even ran away. Everyone failed her. Who knows? Maybe the police are trying to cover their back for not acting in the way that
That
they
is
maybe should have.
that's an interesting angle because that's a fact. They said multiple times that she ran away, and there was some confusion with if the mom had called the police to let them know that she was back, or if the police had done anything. You know what I'm saying? Because it is always a thing. Like, could the police have done more? But there's also a lot of people in California. I don't know how many people are in that L
Okay,
whatever
but over
area
in the
that they live
David
in.
2 subreddit, they're reacting to this news. Okay, not going to lie, it's been dry. Okay, it's been dry over in the subreddits about David. Everyone's looking for new information. This is actually, for such small news, this has got a big response. Okay, it's got 135 comments. It says, why would that need to happen unless you know you're not going to be able to take care of those homes soon? It said, in case he gets sued, he technically won't have any assets, but apparently this act is illegal. It's called fraudulent conveyance. Not sure why they would do this, being that one of the parents works in the legal field. What if the trust already included the parents, but it still looks fishy, of course. People are saying there was a deleted post because it doxed where David was staying in Texas and the car he was driving, likely talking about this. It's likely he knows he's going to be arrested soon and is moving his assets around. Maybe it's for when he's out of money and they can't foreclose on his house. Okay, it says this is wrong on so many levels. They're literally stalking our subreddit. Somebody says, I didn't believe it before, but I think they do check the sub and then maybe fact check. LMAO, because why didn't they publish this sooner before people came out with this info on here? The only person actually coming out with this new info is that private investigator guy. Okay. This guy said, I already posted on Reddit that his house was under a trust, and I even alluded to it having something to do with his music, the name of the trust. If you knew the name, you would know that it was him who came up with it. There would be no denying who made up the name of the trust, but it was already in place back in 2023, so TMZ is late to the party. I already disclosed the house was under trust on Reddit previously. TMZ is late, LOL, but to be fair, I did not look up his parents' house they live in now, which is a few miles away from where we live. I live 8 miles from David's house and the house. His parents live a few miles more up the road from us, so honestly, I didn't really care to look, because it didn't really spark my interest. It's his family, but I might get bored perhaps and look through the county records just to see. I found his family's names through other public records. That's how I found out his dad is not an attorney like David said he was in a previous interview. I looked up licenses on the Texas State Bar. I feel like I'm repeating myself 500 times, but anyway, I'm a local here. I've lived here for 16 years, but I never knew David lived 8 miles from me until he was linked to her death in the news. David,
Wow.
man, you got the locals. Even the locals are looking into you, man. This is not good, okay? It's not good. All right, not looking good. I don't think he's done one thing that wasn't extremely suspicious since they found Celeste. I wonder why an innocent person would do this. Sarcasm, by the way. Okay, sure, his legal team probably advised him not to say anything, but his actions are definitely suspect as hell. Is this in any way going to be able to be used as evidence for the trial, or would it be considered unrelated? I guess when your label isn't paying you and your career's falling apart for being a gross human, all he's left with are the assets that he wants to try and keep. People saying, yeah, this is illegal. He's so guilty, gearing up for civil suits. I bet that's what people are saying. They're saying, wonder if this will be the second O.J. Simpson trial, in that it can't be proved that David killed Celeste, but he can be found responsible for
It's kind of playing out like that. Like, it's weird how history repeats itself. It really is weird, isn't it? Like, this is kind of getting that same eerie vibe of that, the OJ Simpson thing, which, if you're really asking me, I definitely think OJ did it. Um, it just is kind of like
her
obvious.
death.
Um,
Okay, so this post, it's piquing a lot of people's interest. It's one of the few bits of information that we seem to have had from David's camp. People are saying, why would he change the ownership to his mother's house? Two of the properties that were in his name have been transferred into a trust registered under his mother's name. I have a feeling something significant is about to happen. It just feels like he's preparing for something, like he knows he's going to lose everything and wants to make sure his family is taken care of. Perhaps trying to block out losing the house to a civil suit. Even if he manages to get off with criminal charges, he could be found liable in civil court. People say, I don't know why, but mama made me chuckle. Okay, it's nothing funny about this. Maybe he's setting everything up for his family before the grand finale. My guts are telling me confession will follow. Sometimes I believe he wanted us to know. I feel like he's going to himself, okay? Yeah, a lot of people thought that, man. Lol, they can do this all they want. My ex owns a home and owes me 60 grand in child support. It doesn't matter, especially when it's
Damn. Which is crazy because I thought that I had heard the IRS and like child support is actually one of the things that you can never really run from debt wise. Like, I heard, might be wrong on that, but damn, that's crazy. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. I personally think that he's preparing for something. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, we hear something within the next 2 weeks so I can update you guys. But yeah, it's your boy Hockey, and I'm out. Peace.
Eyes, bring joy to my mistake.